Hi, I'm Maria Ingold. I'm here at Connected Media IP at NAB 2018. I am here with Bhavesh Vaghela, who is the CEO of Paywizard. So,
Hi, Maria.
welcome.
Thank you.
And how is NAB going for you so far?
Oh, NAB's been fantastic. It's my third one. I think as a
Okay.
business we've been coming here much longer. So it's bigger and better than always. But we've seen some big trends actually. We've certainly seen operators talking a lot more about customer experience, talking a lot more about the next generation of OTT and trying to actually grow their subscriber bases a lot more. So we've seen a bit of a change in the way in the way the key trends.
Yeah, so I've known Paywizard for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I knew you back in the day when you were doing an e-wallet.
Yes, that's true, that's very true, yeah.
And you've clearly done many things since then. So
Yeah.
tell me a bit more about what Paywizard is doing now.
Yeah, so I mean, Paywizard has been in business for about 20 years. We come from an outsourced business model, so back in the UK we are leveraged by some major operators to manage their entire subscriber bases, all the way through to running campaigns and so forth. And over the last 2-3 years, we've transitioned into a software business, and effectively taking all our learnings on how do you manage a subscriber, what's the journey a subscriber goes through, and trying to put that into the platform so any operator around the world through a SaaS environment can effectively manage their subscribers better. So for us, it's really all about the core subscription capability, core CRM and billing.
Yes.
But on top of that, it's really about how do you manage the customer. So we have an 8-stage process that's defined in terms of how a customer engages with you. And for us, the whole strategy is about how do you drive customer engagement through those different stages.
Wow, okay. So with the customer engagement and that journey that they're going on, you have actually also done some research recently.
Yeah, we have,
So
we have.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been doing some research for quite a few years now, but there's this one in particular. We researched consumers in the US, the UK, and out in the Philippines.
Yep.
And what we were really trying to figure out is, what do they think of the customer journey? How are they engaging with traditional pay TV operators versus OTT operators? What are the kind of friction points in the journey? And how important actually is customer experience to them?
Yes.
Because if you think about customer experience in pretty much every other industry, right? When you're your bank or your mobile or whatever it is that you do, it's actually important to us as consumers. And is it just about content in this environment, or is it beyond content? Do you need more than content in order to drive the loyalty of a customer? And essentially that was the research was all about. And what we discovered actually is customer experience is a critical factor for keeping the customer beyond a short period of time.
Yes.
So content will get you subscribed, but if you treat the customer badly across any of the stages that they're interacting with you, then they'll actually leave your service regardless of whether you've got content or not. Some of the figures, for example, 25% of people last year across those 3 territories actually cancelled their subscription because of a poor experience. Now conversely, 41% retained their subscription because of a good experience. Now that's got nothing to do with content, that's all to do with how they're perceiving that you're treating them as an end consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I don't have good experience, I certainly say something about it, and if it doesn't change,
And you switch off, right?
if I can get the content elsewhere, I would do that.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've recently announced a new strategic partnership with Diagonal.
That's correct.
Take me through that. What does that mean for you now?
Yeah, so I mean, over the last 3 years, once we launched our Decision Moments framework, which is our customer journey framework, our key strategy has always been how do we drive more value with how a customer is engaging with the end service. So what we have is the ability to segment your customers into the different stages, but of course you want to do something with that information, right? So in the case of Diagonal, they offer a dedicated marketing automation platform that's specific for pay TV. So in other words, I'm a marketeer sitting in an operator, I've just got a segment of customers that I know are likely to churn, I want to do something with it straight away. So I can now, through the Diagonal platform and Paywizard, run a campaign in real time. So I can say I want to run a social media campaign to that segment, or I want to run an email campaign, or I want to do a pop-up in their device. And so that's where the integration fits, and that's why it's all about driving the action off the back of the data that we hold.
Interesting, okay. Well, speaking of data, everybody's talking about big data.
Yeah.
Does anybody actually know what they really mean by big data? and what are you doing to help them with data-driven insights?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, similar to the research I just talked about with consumers, we've been doing a year-long research project talking to operators, both in Europe, US, and Asia. And we're just about to announce the ones in Europe. It's really interesting when you think about customer experience and data, and how do you leverage the two together?
Yes.
And where does big data fit into this? What we found is, talking to different types of operators, whether it's your traditional pay TV type of company, or whether it's an OTT, or even a telco, there's a lot more telcos coming into the space, how important is customer experience to them? And actually every single one of them said strategically it's the number one priority. So that's good. But what we found is a big gap between what their strategic priority was and their ability to deliver against the entire journey. So what you find is they'll use data and insights on certain areas, and it tends to be on getting customers on board. I need to make sure my acquisition process is as simple as possible, for example. Or I want to know what you're viewing so I can sell more advertising, or I can potentially think about the next commissioning of programs I'm going to do. But there's a lot of gap around, well, actually, what about my billing? What about my ability to drive ARPUs? Or what about my churn reduction? And we found there was a lot of disparity between how different types of operators were leveraging data. And every single one of them said to us, we're still on the starting point of the journey. Even the OTT ones, which you'd expect would be much more advanced, were still quite far back. So what we're finding with operators typically with big data is they're struggling to understand what to do with it. They're trying to figure out how to get the data together in a single place, because most of it's all over the place for them. And then they're trying to understand, well, what are the bits that I really need in order to drive the bits, the action that I want? And what's surprising is they already have the data, and they probably don't need all of it. And this is really about being smart in terms of what you do at that point in time.
Yeah, and make sure it's not just stuck in the spreadsheets, that
Absolutely.
it's actually somewhere useful,
Yeah,
and that you can use it all together to
and
add value.
Most of the time it's historical, right? They're looking backwards with data. Well, it's all about real time. You know a lot about your customers. You know that you're not watching sports anymore. So well, offer me a different package and be proactive about it.
Yeah, so you're dealing with legacy as well.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's a mindset and a legacy issue as well.
Wonderful, interesting. So you've really moved on a lot since the days of the e-wallet.
Oh, totally, yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your achievements and the things you're doing and looking forward to doing. And we will welcome you back next year and find out even more what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.